I think involvement comes out of mistakes, struggle, and not so comfortable things happening to you. But I'm at the best place I've ever been in life. Went for a joyride down the devil's highway, my eternal soul hanging by a thread. I was determined that the world was turning my way. Wound up beside the road, left for dead. Now I'm falling, I'm falling, feeling so low. All I wanna do is go back home.
Well, you're in the right place, but you're listening to my good friend Dennis Quaid singing Fallin'. He's joining us today. He is an Emmy and Golden Globe nominee, best known for a lot of different roles: The Rookie, The Day After Tomorrow, The Parent Trap, and currently Dennis portrays the 40th President of the United States in the biopic Reagan. Man, let me tell you, they could not have cast that better. It's produced by Mark Joseph. It's directed by Sean McNamara. Reagan is out in theaters August 30th. You have got to check this out. He's not playing a role, he's channeling it. Dennis said playing Ronald Reagan was one of the greatest honors of his life and was inspired by the many parallels between each of their lives. In addition to acting, Dennis, as you just saw, is also a musician, releasing multiple albums, and he's going to tell us all about his highly personal songs from his inspirational album, Fallin', a gospel record for sinners. Good to see you again, man.
Good to see you, Phil. Last time we saw each other, I think, was the golf course.
It was the golf course, and I think you drove about 100 yards past me.
I was probably 100 yards to the left as well.
Yeah, and I was 150 to the right, but you played well, actually, so you were very patient.
Yeah, that was back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day. So are you still playing?
Yes, only once a day, though.
Yeah, only once a day. But you play fast.
Yeah. I turn everything into an aerobic activity.
Yeah, well, you're hyper. You're whack, go, whack,
I
go,
wouldn't call
whack,
it
go.
hyper. I'm just like super focused.
Yeah, he's hyper. I don't care what he says. So how you been, man?
I've been really good. Actually, I think I would qualify this as the best period of my life.
Yeah?
Tell you the truth. Yeah.
You seem very happy. You seem very peaceful. It's good to see. You've moved to Nashville.
Yes, moved to Nashville. My wife and I, Laura, moved there about 4 years ago, and I just love living there. And, my grandfather actually left the Nashville area when he was 3 years old and went to Texas in a covered wagon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still got cousins back there. And it's a great place because of the people, and it's easy to make friends and have great friends there.
Yeah. What prompted you to move?
Well, music, number one, it really is Music City. 75% of all music done in the United States, regardless of the genre, is done in Nashville. There's such great pickers there. And I visited there for the first time probably about 10 years ago and just kept coming back and really fell in love with the place. And that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah, it's great. Ronnie Dunn's one of my best friends, and he lives there, Brooks and Dunn Fade.
Yeah.
I talk to Ronnie every week.
There's not a cynicism there, that or kind of jadedness that I think happens with a lot of artists, whether it be actors or musicians or whatever. People there, they still like just to get together on the porch or in each other's homes and just play.
Yeah.
It's not something just do for work. It's something they do to express joy.
Yeah, it's a different vibe than on either coast. No question about it. I feel the same way about Dallas. It's very different than either coast, certainly different than Hollywood.
Right.
There's a lot of good things about both coasts, but there's a different vibe in the middle of the country.
Right.
So I can't wait to talk about a lot of different things, but I got to just jump in and talk about Reagan. This is an amazing project. How'd this come about for you?
Out of the blue. It really did. I did a movie called Soul Surfer, and Bethany's brother, my Hawaiian agent, Bethany Hamilton, who the movie was about, told me that there was some, group of people that were, looking to talk to me about playing Reagan. And so I found Mark, and we had a meeting, Mark Joseph, and they asked me to do the role. And I did not see myself as Reagan. I didn't think I looked like him. Of course, his voice is so distinctive, and it was fear that was going up and down my spine, to tell you the truth, because he's like Muhammad Ali. Everybody in the world knows what he looks like. I didn't want to do an impersonation. And so I took a lot of time to think about it. And we're both actors. We're both, I think, have sunny dispositions naturally. And but I went to the ranch, the Reagan Ranch, which is not open to the public. And that's what made my mind up, because you go up 5 miles of the worst road in California to get to this place. That's the Queen had to come up that road to visit him.
Can you imagine?
And you come out it to the gate, and it opens up, on top of that mountain there. And I realized that Reagan was a humble man. And he wasn't a rich man. And I could feel him there in that place, just who he was. The house that they had is maybe 1,100 square feet. That was, the Western White House.
Yeah.
And the first thing you see when you open the door is this huge bookcase of every book that he ever had, going back to when he was 9 years old. But the house is, like I said, 1,100 square feet. They had a king-size bed, but it was 2 single beds that were zip tied together.
Seriously?
Yeah. They left that place just as they left it. You expect that he and Nancy to come back at any moment. The clothes are in the closet. The Liberty Bell shower head is there. There's a basket with 3 channel changers in it that go kaprong, kaprong, and a note from Nancy on how to get the TV to work, and you could really feel it. So I said yes. And then when he became president, here was a guy that was going to be tough to deal with. Now, like I said, America had practiced appeasement and agreements. We had détente, we had SALT, we had, we'd gone through the Cuban Missile Crisis. And Jimmy Carter, who I voted for, by the way, the first time that he was up, he was a really good man. And I thought he did an incredible job of the Middle East with Egypt and Israel, but it seemed to be appeasement with the Russians. He gave away the B-1 bomber. He gave away quite a number of things without getting anything in return. And I think that the Soviets lost respect with that and felt they could run all over him, and built their military up. And there was a lot going on in Africa back, these proxy wars in the Central America as well. And Reagan came along, and man, oh man, they didn't know what hit him. He was the first one to say no.
Do you think there's still Reagan effect on where we are today?
I believe there's an example there of about where we are today, about how to negotiate with other powers, and to also recognize that there are bad actors out there who don't wish us well. America is a country, we want to get along with everybody, and we are a shining example to the rest of the world. And I think that's the way Americans see themselves. But I think there's a naivete, I think, sometimes in that it's going to be reciprocated on the other side. And, other countries, their leaders, they've come up a certain way. They have different histories just imagine like Russia's history. I can understand why the Soviet Union, why it was the way it was, given its history, which is very brutal. So they live by different rules. So I think, he's a great example of that. Just like Hitler was an example of what happens when you practice appeasement. They get entitled to take more.
This is going to come out, 9 weeks before the election?
I think so. And we were making this movie, and I so did not want it to come out in an election year. And I think it did a lot of praying over that, but I think God had different ideas about it, I guess. But here we are. Because it's, I didn't want the movie to be a political statement, which I still don't think that it is. That Reagan was a Democrat before he was a Republican, by the way. And, but that's just the way, it is. And so that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah. Well, you got some heavy hitters in this movie. I mean, Mark Joseph, the movies that they've been involved in, X-Men, Hocus Pocus, Planet of the Apes, Rocky, John Avildsen was saying that Rocky was not a story about boxing. Boxing was simply Rocky's job. And similarly, the Reagan film is not a film about politics, but the story of a man who happens to be in politics. And it feels that way. Is that how you felt doing it?
Oh, yeah. I really believe that, too. Like, for instance, sports movies, I'll just take one of mine, like The Rookie is not about baseball.
Right.
Because I can watch that on television.
Yeah.
It's about second chances in life, which everybody can relate to. And Reagan is not about politics. It's about us. And, I think it's like to be determined, that could mean a lot of things to different people. But you have to relate with it. It can't just be, otherwise, just go to YouTube and you can see all the history of what happened. And this is not a history lesson. It's about, I think for those born before 1985, it'll be a remembrance of what this country was and what it still can be. And for those born after, it'll be what this country could be. Things don't bother me as like they used to. You let a lot of things go that used to be like so important to me and that were unnecessary. About being worried about what the world thinks of you or trying to achieve something in life. Like acting. I don't do this for like awards and says the guy who never won an Academy Award. But I do it because I love it. And I'm really, at this point, with all my experience, I'm having more fun at it than I ever had because I'm doing things that I want to do.
Yeah, but your career is storied. I mean, you have to agree you've had an amazing career.
My autobiography is going to be called My Lucky Life because it's been really amazing. And I have a beautiful relationship with such a beautiful, wonderful woman now that I've really finding out every day about what love is. And I don't know why it came along at this time of my life, but it did. And I'm so grateful for it. It just makes the sunshine every day.
Yeah. How about the music in your life? You're loving doing that.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I put out a gospel record last year. In fact, it was #1 when it came out. And it's called Fallen. It's a gospel record for sinners. And I called it that because I wanted to have the biggest possible audience I could get.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So, it's kind of, I guess, in the end, it's my spiritual journey. It's like half songs I grew up with in the Baptist church, and the other half are songs that I wrote, during different times of my life.
Yeah. We opened with one of those songs at the beginning. When did you start singing?
Very early. I was into music. In fact, I wanted to be a musician before I wanted to be an actor. Yeah, I grew up with Elvis, Hank Williams, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
And that's, what I wanted to be besides being a veterinarian. But the veterinarian went out the window when I was a veterinarian assistant. We went out to do a castration on a horse. That was that ended that.
You said that's it?
Yeah, that was it.
That's one trial learning?
Yeah, they didn't give him enough anesthetic. But I was going to be a musician, but I found acting with teacher Mr. Cecil Pickett, who my brother also took from. He was fantastic. He opened up a world to me, and that was the question, what makes people tick? And I've been fascinated with that ever since.
This comes out August 30th. I'm telling you, this is going to be big.
Oh, your mouth to God's ears.
This is going to be
Dr.
big.
Phil.
I'm going to be all over this. I'm going to pump this like you won't believe.
Oh,
I
thank
want
you.
people to see this. We need a reminder of, and everybody looks back and says, oh, the good old days. I'm not saying things were perfect at this
No,
time,
they
but
really weren't.
they were not. There was a lot going on, but there were some things then that it would be great to make everything old new again.
Mhm.
There are some things from that era that we would do well to look back on and say, it would be good to revisit that.
Right.
I mean, really.
Yes. I mean, the movie's not a love letter. I mean, the way that Reagan didn't handle AIDS very well when it came along. I mean, there was, Iran Contra. There's, it was like a little borderline in that. But there is no perfect life, as as I think some Eastern European gangs say, there is no perfect crime.
Yeah.
You just can't be pulled off. There's always a gremlin in there, but what was incredible about Reagan is that it was not about issues. It was about principles.
Yeah.
That's where he came from. And if you come from principles, that'll be a guide through any era, through any fad, phase, whatever you have. That'll be the guiding post.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about it. I can't wait till it hits. I promise you we'll be all over it.
Thank you.
I'm proud that you did it. I'm proud of the job you did, and I can't wait for it to come out. What's next for you?
Well, I've just finished doing a thing in Vancouver for Paramount. I'm playing a serial killer.
Yeah.
That's what you do after playing the president, I guess. And he's a real guy, the Happy Face Killer. And that'll be along probably next year. And producing my production company. We just had our first film come out, The Long Game, which is a true story. South Texas in the 50s, these kids, which is I'm really proud of. And we're moving on. We have some things in the hopper that we're looking forward to doing.
Well, you're not slowing down.
No, I'm not a human being. I'm a human doing.
Yeah.
That's basically where I operate most comfort, because I like it.
Yeah. I'm the same. I can't even think about retiring, going home. Playing golf's fun until it's the only thing you have to do.
Yeah, that's right. And I think we learned a little bit about that in COVID, didn't we?
Yeah,
About what it's
exactly.
like to retire.
Yeah, that's not fun.
It's not all it cracked up to be.
Yeah. And if you're doing something you love, then
Yeah,
why would you want to stop?
that's what I tell my kids. Find something you love to do and
Yeah.
then figure out a way to get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a third of your life figured out.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming. Thanks for talking
Thanks
to
for
me.
having me. I really appreciate it.
The movie is Reagan. It comes out August 30th. The album is Fallen, a gospel record for sinners. That means all of us. We started with a track from that called Fallen. It's also got Please Don't Give Up on Me, Why Me, Lord, God Gets Lonely Too. Even Amazing Grace is on there, a lot of other tracks. It's good. I've listened to every one of them with Robin. I got to say, good job.
Thank you.
Good job. I hope you do more.
Much
I'm sure
appreciated.
you will. I'm going to have links to that on drphil.com as well as Fill in the Blanks so everybody can find it. We'll be reminding you of Reagan every step of the way. So
Thank you.
appreciate you being here. Best of luck on this and all your other projects.
As well to you.
Thanks.
God bless you, Dr.
All right,
Phil.
thanks, man.